that's where the majority of our like headspace is. The majority of our thoughts are around that. And then I learned about the subconscious mind and how it drives us to take certain behaviors, and those behaviors over time become habitual. So our subconscious mind is where our habits come from.
Welcome to episode number 4 of Tech Careers and Money Talk. I'm your host, Christopher Nelson. I've been in the tech industry for 20 plus years. And after climbing my way to the C-suite, working for 3 companies that have been through IPO, and investing my way to financial freedom, I'm here to share with you everything that I've learned and introduce you to people that can help you along your journey. I'm excited today to introduce you to Jenny Wichello. Jenny Wichello has been a serial CFO for many retail startups, and she now works in Amazon Finance Department, a technology company. And on the side, she is a money mindset coach. And money mindset is so important for all of us to learn because how we think about money, how we've seen and been educated about money, determines how we use our money. And if we want to be successful in investing, we have to be able to understand our mindset. Let's get into the show. Welcome to Tech Careers and Money Talk, Jenny.
Thank you. It's a joy to be here.
I'm a huge advocate of money mindset. I really like the way that you presented, Jenny, and I know you speak a lot specifically to women, but it resonates with me. And so what I would love to understand is, where did you develop your passion for this? And then I want to talk a bit about your philosophy because I think it's very insightful.
Yeah, sure. So I had no idea that there was even a thing called money mindset. But I read, I thought financial literacy was it. If you have financial literacy, you're set. I had financial literacy. I mean, I have 2 business degrees, and I wasn't set for a while.
Right.
And then I read A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, which is a challenging book to get through, but it opened my eyes to the fact that we're not our thoughts. And that was just literally mind blowing for me. We're not our thoughts. And most of the time we're not even in control of the thoughts that we're having. And worse, a lot of them are not serving us because they're fixations on the past, some bad experience we had or some mistake we made with money, or they're imaginative thoughts about what's going to go bad in the future. Like what bad thing is going to happen to me? I'm going to lose all my money in the future or something, or I'm going to lose my job, et cetera. That's where the majority of our like headspace is. The majority of our thoughts are around that. And then I learned about the subconscious mind and how it drives us to take certain behaviors, and those behaviors over time become habitual. So our subconscious mind is where our habits come from. And so then I connected the dots. If we have negative beliefs about money and we fixate on some mistake that we made or some fear that we have about money, then we will subconsciously take action to ensure that that is our reality, to make it real for us. And I love the work by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he says, our familiar past becomes our predictable future. And so we stay stuck in this loop of having the same thoughts and the same emotions associated with those thoughts. And then we take action to produce the same results. And then we have more thoughts about those bad results that we had. And the cycle continues and continues and continues. And when I had that realization, I was like, wow, like this is totally it. And I thought back on my own childhood and the experiences that my family had around money. My parents grew up very poor in Alabama. They didn't have financial literacy. We had a perfectly fine, life when I was growing up, but they could have made smarter decisions had they known, but then also had they not had a poverty set point, right? So when you're a child, your subconscious is stuffed. It's like crammed full of stuff by the time you're 7. And so the things that you experience as a small child then become the way that you operate in the world. And that holds true for your relationships, your health, whether you have a problem with obesity and, things like that. Oftentimes that can be traced back to your childhood and then what's basically sitting in your subconscious and running as a script and then driving your behaviors. And so when it comes to money, that manifests oftentimes as a scarcity mindset. So the belief that money is limited, you're going to go broke, you got to be careful with your money because, if you take any risks, you're going to lose it. And that keeps, so that's why people hoard things, or they put money under their, under their mattresses, or they don't get into investing because they're afraid, And then on the flip side is the abundance mindset, which is where we all deserve to be. And so I help my clients make that transition from a scarcity mindset, which most of us have, to an abundance mindset. And then because I have passed the CFP exam and I have all the knowledge about financial planning, once I have that abundance mindset, I can then take them down the path towards building a financial plan.
Wow, you just said a lot, but I do think that, well, but it's so true because, I know even as part of my story, it was interesting that I felt like there was more for me. I felt like I could have the IPO, I could have this big, sudden wealth event, and that's what I was really focused on and working for. What I didn't realize is that because when you don't do the mindset work, when I got to that moment, those tapes went on overdrive. And I think that happens to a lot of us in tech who we know that we can generate the wealth. We see technology working in tech, working for equity is the way to get there. And then what happens, and is very dangerous, is we then get this oversized position in a single company. And we think, well, my great thinking got me there. My bad tapes are freezing me to not move from there because I don't want to mess it up. I could mess it up. I don't know what to do. I mean, a lot of these, negative thoughts, I think, creep into, a lot of, I've had those in the past, and I know that those happen to other people, many other tech employees that I've spoken to. How do you coach people through things like that?
Well, the first step is awareness.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of stress, financial stress going on in the tech industry now because of so many people who have a high percentage of their compensation tied to stock.
Yeah.
Right. And so, people are taking essentially a pay cut right now. And if you don't have a financial plan or you weren't prepared for that, you're having a lot of stress right now, and your scarcity mindset and all your anxiety around money is probably bubbling up to the surface very quickly. So the first step is awareness. Like, you need to be aware that you have these thoughts. And oftentimes, we have something around 90,000 thoughts a day. We aren't even aware half the time that we've got this mental chatter going on. So the first step is awareness. You need to be aware that you're having these thoughts. And the best tool for that is meditation. It's just sitting. Meditation can come in many different slices, but at the end of the day, meditation is about sitting there and having the awareness that you're not your thoughts and noticing your thoughts, right? And so it's not about focusing. People often think it's about focusing on something, but it isn't. It's about awareness. And so if you're aware of your thoughts and you're like, I'm having these thoughts about money, the next step is to be curious about that. Why am I having this thought? Where did this thought come from? What is there any are there any facts associated with this? Like, what do I know for sure? There's a lot of talk about layoffs. People in the tech industry are worried they're going to get laid off. What are the facts that you know? Do you know you're going to be laid off? Do you know that your department is undergoing some headcount reductions? Or do you know that you saw a news article about it? Right. And that's the only facts that you have, right? And so really questioning our beliefs and figuring out how much of them are really valid. And then once you recognize that a lot of your beliefs are, quite frankly, garbage, then you've got to take steps to intentionally rewrite them. And this is the part that feels a little silly to people. It's like, okay, well, I believe I'm bad with money because I'm bad with math, right? That's a common one I hear from a lot of women.
Interesting.
All right, well now, so that's not true. There's plenty of people that are good with money and bad with math. Math is not a prerequisite. Especially not in 2023 when we have tons of tools and gadgets to help us, right?
To automate things, right?
Yeah. So let's rewrite that belief. You're absolutely fabulous at managing your money. That you leverage your creativity to find awesome solutions to any challenge that you face.